Hello, everybody. I'm Gwen, pronouns are she, her, and I am GMing tonight of a game of Triangle Agency. We are here with our quantum shift of the Triangle Agency team. We have two teams here at High XP Society. And let me tell you a little bit more about High XP Society. The High XP Society is a group of gamers of marginalized identities who they've logged more XP than your average gamer. It's just a code word for, more experienced, maybe a little older. Yeah, so that's us. And we've put together two games, or rather one game with two teams of a game called the Triangle Agency that we're streaming right here every Tuesday night. And the Triangle Agency is a role-playing game from Haunted Table Games that is in the realm of urban fantasy / corporate satirical horror, you could say. And our team here, which I will ask to introduce themselves in a moment, is in the middle of a mission that we last saw them a few weeks ago involved in which they've been invited to investigate some strange murders, and some strange things have happened in the investigation so far. What I'd like to do first is do some introductions to our three other players. If you can tell us your name and pronouns, and a little bit about yourself if you like, and then tell us the name of your player, or your character rather, and a little bit about your character. If you want to name out your arc, you can do that. And then I will give a recap of what's happened so far, and we'll return to the action. Barb, why don't you go ahead and start, please? Thank you.
Hi, I am Barb Bond. I am a voice actor and stage actor. I'm the founder of the High XP Society, and I play Moira Flynn. She works the hotline for the agency, and she's got a problem with being pursued that nobody really knows what's going on with that. Most people just don't know that, what her past is about. And her anomaly is manifold. So she plays mostly with space. She's, space and gravity are kind of, they're suggestions to her.
All right, so we've got our hotline operator with a mysterious past who can warp space. Let's hear from Eleanor.
Hi, so I am Eleanor, pronouns are she, they, and I am playing Sai, who is an intern with the Triangle Agency. Their anomaly is growth, which usually sort of manifests in sort of eldritch horror ways. And partially because of this, they're struggling a bit. It's rough.
All right, so we've got our intern who can sprout extra limbs when needed, or frankly, when not needed, who's struggling to pay rent, etc. All right, and what about Blue?
I'm Blue. Pronouns are she, they, we. I also accept fey, femme. I am playing Moira LaSalle, and she is with her arc. She is a dream anomaly, which means not only can she enter dreams or manipulate people in sleep, she can also do some really cool things involving art. Like you have that manuscript that's been sitting in your trunk all the time. Well, maybe I just rewrote it because it needed some tweaking. She is her reality is that she's a creature. She is a fallen star, third star to the right, and she decided that wasn't really working for her. So she's down here hoping to help fulfill some wishes or give nightmares to those people who need them. And she works as a barista, which means she never gets anyone's name right.
All right, so that is our 3 intrepid adventurers. The Triangle Agency, this very morning in this game here in Game World, sat these 3 down and gave them the morning meeting in which they learned about some unfortunate deaths in a nearby neighborhood called Caddy Corner. The first was Tony Jackson, an owner of a local bar called the Two Jacks. And he was found dead, his face frozen in an expression of pain, mouth open as if screaming. But the cause of death appeared to be a sudden cardiac arrest. And the week after that, another person was found dead in the same way. Manny Navarro was found dead in a place called the Laundrocade, a laundromat arcade. Same facial expression. And unbeknownst to the residents of Caddy Corner, the Triangle Agency found a third person, or learned about a third person who had died a month ago out in the woods near the Caddy Corner. And she was found in the woods next to a bag of metalworking tools. And again, same cause of death and condition. Something is killing these people. And the agency, their algorithms have detected that there is enough irregularity about this to suggest the activity of an anomaly. An anomaly is a tear in reality, usually caused, or rather attracted to, strong emotion. So there's somebody in the area probably who has some strong emotional, they're putting out strong emotions into the world, and something nearby has been attracted to it, and now it's manifesting based on this emotion and out wreaking havoc. And for some reason, apparently, it's causing some deaths. So the crew arrived to do some investigations. They went first to the Two Jacks bar, and they did some investigating. They learned a little bit more about, or the Two Jacks Tavern, I should say. And they learned a little bit more about that. It's a bar where it's a dance party. They've got a new sound system. They met Sharif, the bartender, who's talked a little bit about it. And they met Jackie Williams, the co-owner, and ex of the deceased Tony Jackson and Jackie Williams. And she talked a little bit about Tony being found dead on the floor in the situation he had been found. They were doing some investigation, and I believe it was Sai that traveled to the bathroom after hearing Sharif talk about a very large creepy spider in there. And indeed, something was in there, but it wasn't a spider. It looked like a tangle of wires. It behaved kind of like a creepy crawly spider creature, and it went skittering away, and they chased after it, and finally, eliminated the threat, you could say. And that is a, let me get rid of this. Yes, okay. And that is a, what's called a minor anomaly. This is probably a little break in reality spawned by the major anomaly. And so what they've learned is that in this case, it's manifesting as wires. And indeed, it seems to have been spawned out of a tangle of wires behind a new sound system that Tony has been fidgeting with lately. And another theme that's been recurring is everywhere they've gone, they have seen signs of some frustrated, I should say, neighborhood organization, you might call it. You've seen signs and flyers and heard information about the Concerned Citizens of Caddy Corner, a neighborhood betterment association. And a woman named Kay Renfield seems to have been really frustrated by all the noise that's been happening after dark in her neighborhood. Actually, I mean, all she's really wanted from the day one is to get some rest. Some of us are trying to sleep, she said. And so they've seen flyers for that. They then went to the Laundrocade, site of the other death that was known about in town, walked to the back where there's the arcade, and talked to a customer there who was playing video games a little bit about Tony Navarro, who had died right there on the spot playing a game called Pin Drop. And they noticed something strange about the game Pin Drop, because the high score screen seemed to have spelled out a message. Now, players, I believe I shared that with you a few weeks ago. Did everyone remember that screen? So for those at home, what it spells out is, it says in the 3 letters that are each, the initials of the people on the high scoreboard, it actually spells out, some of us are trying to sleep. And there's a series of numbers to the right that seem to correspond to the letters. And I will remind you as well that when you were sent on this assignment, you're often, what happens is you're giving an assignment, which is to contain or destroy the anomaly. But each assignment, there are optional side assignments that you can gain bonus commendations for from the corporation. One of them is to get your name or your initials on the high score, top of the high scoreboard of this game. So let's start with that. You've approached this machine, you're aware of this challenge, but something has happened that has prevented you from starting to play, because the man standing there talking to you has been sucked behind the machine by some wires that have reached out, grabbed his feet, and yanked him back behind the machine, where there's all of these arcade machines that have this Byzantine nest of wires. Frankly, more wires than they need seem to be back there. It's as if the wires have propagated and created a little bramble of wires. So you're standing there, you're talking to this person about the strange death of Tony Navarro. You're noticing that something is weird about the way this video game is reporting its high scores, as if something is sending something electronic, or something is sending a message here. And just when you notice this, the witness is sucked behind the game, screaming, "What?" And he disappears around the corner. What would you like to do?
Can I use my anomaly to try to catch him before he gets sucked behind the...
You absolutely can. Let's give it a shot. So
I'm debating which one to do, to be honest.
The man's name was, actually, their gender is not specified. They are Sims is their name. And you were just speaking to them, and they have been stuck behind. And then there's a woman, Mia, who is the owner that you spoke to in your first entry.
Yeah.
So Sims is sucked behind the machine, and you decide to use an anomaly. Which would you like to use?
So I think I'll say I'll cover you, and then what ends up happening is is essentially I grow extra layers around, and so I try to catch him and then kind of envelop him with them. And take damage for them.
Yes. So if I recall, you need to roll persistence. So for those who might forget, you roll the 6 D4 dice, 4-sided dice, and persistence is the stat you'll use if you need to spend any quality assurances to fix the rolls. But before you roll that, I have to ask you, do you have any in persistence?
I do, actually.
Okay, good. So go ahead and roll your 6 D4 dice and tell me how many 3s you roll.
Oh boy. 1.
Okay. So you can spend quality assurances to turn non-3s into 3s. But notice that basically the relevant results are 1 success or 3 successes. So you'd need to spend 2 to change anything here. Do you have 2 to spend? And if so, would you want to?
I have 3. And then do those reset on
at the end of the mission?
At the end of the mission, right? Okay.
Unless something strange happens.
Yeah, let's. I guess I could spend 2 of them.
Okay. So in case you're, just to be clear to me, the difference is on a success, you do grow rapidly around them and take the damage for them. So anything harmed or, any harm, hurt, or death that's dealt to them is dealt to you instead. But if you roll 3 threes, you armor yourself in extra layers of protective flesh and you reduce the harm that you would suffer.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So the question is, if you want to take it, you can. But if you want to soak it, you got to spend those 2. I'm sure you won't need to do this later. It's fine. I just spend them now.
Oh God, I don't like that look, Gwen. I don't like it.
Oh boy! Oh boy! Oh boy! I guess I'll stick with the 1.
Okay. So what does it look like when something like your flesh literally warps in such a way that you protect Sims from being sucked behind the thing, but you're going to be the target instead? Tell me what that looks like.
Yeah.
How does Sims's body grow?
I think it almost like puddles, like the T-1000.
Yes. Okay. But it's flesh, right? You're not made of metal.
flesh.
You're not liquid metal. You're just liquid flesh. Okay.
Yeah.
So you all are standing there, and Sai is standing and sees Sims get wrapped around and pulled down and start to get pulled behind the machine. And Sai, suddenly just starts melting at high speed, whoosh, like as if you had dropped a large amount of water on the ground. Sploosh. And parts of their flesh splash onto the ground, and like a little wave of them wraps around Sims and juxtaposes themselves with the other person. The cords then become entangled in the flowing flesh, and suddenly Sai looks up, and it's Sai that is pulled behind the machine. Disappeared out of sight.
No!
So Sai takes the hit instead of Sims. And yes, I'm going to be such a little meanie and just let you know, had you spent those 2, you wouldn't have been sucked away. Okay. So you're behind the machine in another place. We'll come back to you. Moira, what are you doing when this happens? Oh, wait a minute. We need to go to Moira because
I'm not there yet.
something strange happened with Moira. Moira had been assigned to this, but Moira works the hotline, and sometimes, things happen. And the scheduler for the Triangle Agency, the problem with the scheduler for the Triangle Agency is the scheduling team is the joke is, they must be extra dimensional beings because they experience time differently than we do. I'm sure that's not real. That's a joke, right? And they so they had actually scheduled you to be doing 3 things at the same time, one of which was this mission, another of which was some other mission, and then also we're supposed to be working the hotline because somebody didn't show up. First of all, who was it that didn't show up? Barb, tell me, who did Moira have to replace?
I had to replace Michael. Michael has a habit of sometimes like being a no-show.
Yeah.
And so, I got in there and they were like, Michael didn't show up, so, take his place, work this shift. And Moira was like, I literally just got done dealing with a psychotic ice cream truck. They were like, Michael's not here, do his job. So she did his job.
Okay. Fair. So, all right. So that's been you were actually just been working at the hotline, and you're sitting
I've
there.
been working in the hotline with my public facing voice.
And you go on break, and you turn the phones off for a minute. This is a Triangle Agency approved 75-second break. You get one every 6 hours, so it's your turn.
Yes.
The clock, this big thing starts blinking. It says prepare for break. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, and then this is 75-second countdown that will start doing klaxons of alarm when you get to the last 10 seconds. It's very it facilitates relaxation.
Yes, of course.
So that's you're about 42, 41, 48. That's going on. You just sit back and take a break, and then your phone buzzes in your ear, indicating that you're receiving a call, which shouldn't happen when you're on break. Do you think you're going to answer it or no? That's a trick question. You don't get to choose. When you receive a call on hotline, it just comes in. You don't get to choose whether you take it.
Yes.
What am I? So a call comes in, and there's a strange voice on the other side. It says, in kind of a computerized, warbled kind of voice, it says, reassignment in 3, 2, 1. And then all of a sudden, somebody sitting next to you looks over, and you are sucked into the headset of the place of the microphone. That's what those are called, on the headset, the little hotline headset. And the headset, and there's just a headset floating in the air for a moment, and then it collapses to the ground, and you're gone. You, on the other hand, have a sensation of moving at high speeds, and then the rest of you, or I guess at this point, it's just who is present, who's left in the arcade right now.
It would be Tilda and...
It would be me and Tilda.
Right.
Yeah, Tilda and Moira.
Okay, so Moira, you're standing
with poor
there.
Sai behind the thing.
Right. So Sai's, you don't know, Sai is sudden. Just as Sai is stuck behind, you hear the sound of one of the game consoles next to you that is a black screen kicks on. What do you think Moira's favorite video game was growing up? Moira,
she probably liked... I'm going to say her favorite one was probably Legend of Zelda.
Okay. So it's not that, because you don't get what you want. It's Gauntlet.
Of course.
And it kicks on.
Gauntlet!
And you hear the computerized voice of Gauntlet say, "Warrior is about to die." And then you come shooting out of the screen, and suddenly you're standing there. And Moira, you look to your left, and there's Moira. Moira, you've been reassigned back to this mission. Sai seems to be absent, and Tilda says, I need a break. So Tilda's taking a mental health break and steps back out of the arcade, understandably so. This has been a lot. Moira and Moira, you find yourself in an arcade standing before the pin drop machine. Moira seems rather, I would imagine, alarmed, because Sai just gets stuck behind the machine.
Oh my God, I hate that. At least there was no dark shadows. Moira, hi.
Hi,
We're
Mona.
in an arcade. I am so sick of video games right now.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
What's happening? I just got reassigned. They didn't give me a lot of information.
I don't have a lot of information for you either, because this Mr. Simothy, who was standing here playing the game, and he was trying to play, and all of a sudden he got sucked behind the machine, and then Sai decided to try and help him, and Sly just turned into goo and went all around him and yanked him back. But then she is stuck back there. They are stuck.
Sai, I don't know them. I've never heard of this person.
Cool. They can grow things and become flesh puddles, but that's true. We need to find. We need to find
cool.
Sly, and get them out of here. Is Sims on the ground?
Sims stands up slowly, and they look like shell-shocked, and they're like, what just happened? That person turned into goo, and that machine tried to grab me, and why did you just come out of Gauntlet? Okay, and they're freaking out. So they're having a panic attack. Meanwhile, we'll pause for just a moment. Sai.
Hey.
The first thing, so you like everything goes black for a moment, and you feel maybe there's something wriggling all over you, like snakes or wires that are animated or dry, leathery worms. It's completely dark. Your body has resumed its most commonly seen shape. It's typical, let's call it day, you're on, work-a-day body. And you don't know where you are. It's dark. You do smell dust. What would you like to do?
Are the wire things, are they moving?
Mm-hmm.
Ugh,
Yes, they are.
gross. Okay.
I mean, something is moving all over your body.
But I'm not like trapped.
It feels, I mean, you're tangled, but not being restrained.
I will try to get out of the tangle.
Okay. You start kind of, and you finally get enough up to sit up and crack your head on something hard that's like directly above you. You're in a small space.
Underneath the machine. Do I have any idea of sense of direction, like where I got sucked in through, or just something?
Not really. You can't. I mean, you can tell that you're in a vertical space that's about 2 feet tall, 3 feet tall, right? And it seems to stretch beyond your limbs in all directions around you. But like, there's a hard surface below you and a hard surface above you, and there's a bunch of wires all around you that are like flowing and across your body, and like thunk, and you hit your head. Moira, you hear a thunk below your feet.
Pardon me. So, did we hear any of her like falling through? I'm sorry, I'm looking right at you. Of them falling through.
So no, all you saw was that Sai got pulled behind, and recognize that we're talking about a space that's like a foot, right?
Yeah.
And it's not spatially possible for their body to fit back there. But yet when the wires dragged it, they disappeared into somewhere else, and it was not a normal mode of travel. So it's not like you heard a trapdoor open or it just whoop, and then they were not there anymore. And you can like look behind the machine, and it's just a tangle of wires back there, like way more than there normally would be to run this machine. If you've ever been at like the house of somebody who has way too many electronics and they don't bother to organize their cords, and then you go look back there and it's like, oh my, how do you do that? And it's all dust bunnies and 400,000 cords all like that. That's what it looks like back there, even though there should only be like 4.
Okay. I think Moira, if I heard something like right in front of me on the floor, I'm gonna get down and take a look, all while calling out variations on my friend's name.
Which
what do I
friend?
see
I forget.
under?
Which friend are you calling out?
My fry guy over here. Yeah,
Fry. Okay.
fry.
Okay, good to know. And what about you, Moira? What are you up to? Moira seems to be behaving strangely, which, as far as you know, is what you'd expect. But anything in particular today from Moira?
I'm going to try to figure out how the best way to go about doing this is. I'm going to call on the agency.
Okay.
Hi, honey, what is your name? What is your name? I'm talking to the one who almost got dragged back. Or
Sims.
loose
They
ends.
say
Sims.
their name is Sims, and they look it directly at Moira and they repeat it. Sims.
I'm so sorry.
Not
Okay.
Simothy or Samantha or Simpson or Symmetry. Sim. Okay.
I am so sorry that people call you by the wrong name and that it must be very hurtful. I would like to personally apologize for everyone who has ever called you by the wrong name, Sims.
That's a lot of people, but okay.
Yeah. But in all likelihood, and I want to call on the agency to cause Sim to think that he got some bad weed.
Okay. So, Sims. Wow. Okay. So you're going to. So the way this works, remember, is if you call on the agency to change reality, you roll the dice, and if you're successful, it works. And what you do is you don't just get to state what's different about reality. You have to tell a story about how that came to pass. You have to realign the causal
that's why
network.
I'm trying to figure this out. Yeah.
So that means that Sims, you have to tell a story according to which Sims would have smoked weed or whatever before playing pin drop, and they would have gotten something laced with a hallucinogen, perhaps, whatever you like. You need to tell a story according to which that is something that would fit in reality based on what you know.
Right. So he did, his their normal guy wasn't there, and they had to buy from someone new, but they didn't really vet that person. But they went ahead and bought the weed anyway, and they were feeling kind of down over all the recent events, so they went ahead and smoked some of the weed and decided to come play some pin drop, just for old time's sake and all that. And clearly they must have got some seriously bad weed. Something was in that weed, because they're seeing some weird stuff.
That makes sense. I mean, they're playing a retro game in a retro arcade. So apparently they also have retro ways of acquiring weed. Instead of going to the dispensary, they have a guy. Okay. So go ahead and roll your D4s. Let's see if it works. Sorry.
You can't afford the stuff at the dispensary.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because they're always cheaper with the guy. That's no wonder you're getting bad weed.
Thank goodness I
Is
got
it legal
one.
in Caddy Corner?
Well, that's a good question. You haven't
Probably
asked.
not. Probably not with the old K Renfield there.
Yeah.
I got 1 3. Oh, and what was I doing this under?
Oh, let's take a look. That's a good question. Well, if you've got a success, let's make sure you don't have burnout on it.
Yeah.
I gotta stop singing that song. It's in my head. All right. I think that you would roll it under. I can't remember. Well, you tell me, which relevant professional quality are you embodying or enhancing with this change? So, for example, if you're changing someone's emotions, you would use empathy. If you're creating a distraction, you might use subtlety. If you're changing what, if you're making something aware of something that they weren't before, that's attentiveness. So, what do you think? Do you have do you want to recommend one, as this is probably what it would have been, or I can pick one if you prefer?
Why don't you pick one?
Okay. Let's go. Let's take a look here. Let's go with. I just lost my little thing here. Where are they? I just lost the list of stats. How about? I still can't find them. I don't know. Pick one that you like. I can't find the list.
Subtlety, you said, right?
Subtlety. Yeah, we can do that. I mean, this
Subtlety
person is
is
trying
one
to
that-
buy illicit weed, so sure.
Yes.
There they are, 34.
And unfortunately, subtlety, I do not have any quality assurances in.
Just ignore
Okay,
me.
Okay, so let me see. I will give you one other option. Now that I've found the list, let's try duplicity as well. Do you have that one?
I don't. I have dynamism, professionalism, and persistence.
Yeah, none of those are relevant here.
Yep.
Well, you can try to redescribe the case because technically that you roll the dice and then describe. So if you want to,
Okay.
because you've got one success on
Do
the
it under
dice.
one of the others.
If you don't,
Are you
then you're going to
saying?
have burnout and you will fail.
Right. So
Because
if
when you
I'm
don't, when you
doing-
roll with one with 0, you subtract 1 off of your.
So if I'm
success
doing it
result.
under, say, professionalism,
Mhm.
so I would need to shape the story differently, or
Yeah,
or
that's
what?
supposed to be how it works. So you
Okay.
roll the dice and then you say, well, I'm going to tell you how reality is different. And if you lean into one of your quality assurances, one of your qualities that you have points in, then you can spend quality assurances as needed. And but more importantly, in this case, because you only got one success, avoid burnout. How about, for example, you might say that, yeah, that's tough. This is, I will admit, this is like an element of the game that I don't fully follow all the time. So you stated effect you want to occur. You did that, but it's the series of money. Because I'm still figuring out this, let's say it's persistence because
Okay.
even though he's been having the dealer's been having supply issues that he refused. I'm assuming the guy is a guy.
Yeah, the guy he buys from.
Is having supply issues, or maybe this is professionalism. He doesn't want to let down his customers, so he has managed to source last minute some weed. It's just kind of questionable quality. So by telling the story that way, you're employing and referencing his professionalism or persistence, maybe.
Right, and he offered it with a caveat. That this isn't the usual quality that he insists on. Buy at your own risk. Right. And Sims decided, you know what, I'm gonna take the chance. I'm feeling really down about all of this, so I'm gonna. Yeah. So
Sims does it, and then Sims is now seeing these things. So okay, so you have that counts as a success. 1-3 is all you need. And so that's the idea, right? What's interesting is that the causality chain is how the triangle agency can change reality, but not damage reality. Because remember, they're in the business of retaining causality. Right. The problem with anomalies, literally the word anomaly means law breaking. And so those are things that break the laws of science and cause and effect. So we don't want to do that. This isn't just willy-nilly here. You got to respect the triangle agency's dedication and commitment to order. Thank you. All right. So you make the call. You say, so actually, Sims here got some bad weed because their dealer refused to disappoint his customers because of his persistence or professionalism, I guess. But the problem is that now Sims is seeing stuff. So Sims is standing there blinking. You can feel that this was effective. And Sims is standing there blinking and they say, whoa. I need to go home and lay down. I think I'm just going to go put on Dark Side of the Moon and stare at the ceiling for about 12 hours.
That might be best. I think you should probably do that.
Naps are really good.
So
Your
good
sleep is
now.
important.
So they
why
say,
don't you go home and I think a good night's sleep is all you need, and you're going to feel right as rain again.
I think I should go buy some more weed. And they start to wander off.
Sweet dreams.
Right.
And like I'm on the floor, like trying to look under the machine, and as I hear him leave, sweet dreams, and then I go right back to looking for shy guy over here.
Shy guy. Shy.
Can
So
you see anything?
So pause. Sai, you've cracked your head. What would you like to do now? You're in this confined space. You can't see. It's totally dark.
Do I hear anything? Do I hear any like footsteps or the conversation going on?
Yeah, you hear muffled sounds. And then you hear what sounds like somebody, it sounds like footsteps away. And they're coming from above you.
I guess I'll call out. Hello.
Yeah.
Hello. Maybe.
Yeah, Moira. It sounds like Sai is underneath the floor.
Oh, goody.
Now, how Sai got there is unclear, and what you're going to do about it, up to you all.
Does it? Can I the wires that are around me? Does it feel like they're coming from one direction, or are they coming from everywhere?
You're kind of like in a nest of wires right now, and they're moving around. They're not like from a single source. It doesn't feel like it. We can't really tell. It's dark. You just feel wires moving across your body in various ways.
I start pulling on some of them.
You can feel like it would be like grabbing a snake that's moving through the area, and you pull on it, and it doesn't. Then this is a very peaceful snake because it doesn't fight. It just it's like, hey, it tries to keep flowing and it resists a little bit, but as long as you don't try to arrest its motion, it doesn't seem to do much. Are you trying to stop it from moving entirely?
I was mostly just trying to see if I could feel a point of resistance from somewhere, like if I could figure out where it was coming from.
Well, actually, what's strange is you could start, and it just keeps going. It seems like wherever it's attached to is very far away.
Okay. Well, just keep banging on the. Hello.
And the floor is like solid, right? It's not like a modular thing or anything.
No, it's like linoleum on top of, you would guess, a subfloor of wood, probably.
I'm thinking about doing something, but I'm worried about it going horribly wrong.
What could go wrong? Open a portal. It worked okay last time.
It worked wonderfully last time. Oy. All right, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna open a portal through the floor, a tunnel to Sai, to try to expose Sai, so we can try to find a way to free Sai from the wires. I'm gonna do it, and I don't have initiative, as we know, because we've been running that video on social media. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna roll with burnout and pray this works.
Okay, so roll 60 force and tell me how many 3s you get.
Oh gosh, come on. 1. No.
So the way
you're just waiting with the chaos thing. Yeah.
So that means, let's see, that means 1 is zapped away, which means these are our little thank you, Jesse, for those. Let's see, 1.
Thank you, Jesse, for the little chaos tokens that
she is for chaos, and that's good enough for me.
Massively.
Yeah, there's already a few in there, I might point out, from before. We've got several. I'll set that aside.
Where's the tunnel gonna end up this time?
For when I, think it might be fun to use. Let's see now. So last time, you might recall, it opened to a very inconvenient location, namely the police. They were, a little surprised. So let's see. I think today, let's see what the manifold says. For this one, it's I know a shortcut. And on a failure, it leads somewhere very inconvenient. It's persistent and visible to everyone on both ends. Where would be an inconvenient place? I just want you all to know I love you very much. So you point down at the floor, and a portal opens. There's this shimmering oval, and pink, it pops into visibility, and you realize, so imagine reorienting yourself. You're looking downwards, but the portal has you looking level, you know, like wherever it is, this one's down, but the other one is like this. And you realize it's in the middle of a busy street, and there's a car coming towards you right now. And it's the driver's like that. Moira, you're standing there. You see this. What would you like to do?
Oh,
You
God,
got
I'm trying to see.
a few seconds before, maybe 3 or 4, before the car gets dangerously close. And, you know, part of it shoots up into the air in the arcade, maybe? However much will fit through that portal, I guess.
I'm trying to see if I have anything in my bag of tricks here. How many times can an ability be used during a mission? Is there a limit?
No limit.
Fantastic.
You can use as many times as you want. Just gotta roll every time.
God, I don't have anything good for this. Actually, let's try this shit. I'm going to use site visit, which is where I can enter a piece of media and or art, and I can take nearby allies with me.
Okay.
They are a nearby ally, as is Moira, sorry.
Okay. So we've got Sai and Moira are both, now know that Sai is right under you.
Yeah.
So you know them and her can... Where would you like to go? It's an interesting question. Right now, the only media in sight are some video games. You've got Gauntlet over there.
One moment, because I just dropped one of my 4s.
Okay, take your time.
I just realized that there was something I could have done that would have made things go absolutely right instead of using the dang portal that I could have used instead. But no, I had to use the portal.
Okay. Pin drop is still up, right? It's still active and on.
Yes, Pin Drop is a video game in front of you. It has a Pac-Man style maze chase. You accumulate power in this game, and then you use it to fight computer opponents in a breakdancing inspired fight scene. Right. That is what's on the screen at the moment. So there's like a guy doing a breakdance move, and then he kicks like a little like blocky little ogre that walks towards him. So that's what's happening on the screen. It's like the demo, it's playing.
I'm gonna try and get into Pin Drop.
Okay.
With Sai and Moira.
Okay.
That is 0 3s.
Oh my God.
Oh, shit.
So
and
on a failure,
I have nothing in attentiveness.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So on a failure, your target, you forget how to hide your tracks. Opportunistic characters from nearby art can follow you and enter reality on their own. You are in a video arcade.
Oh.
So
Sumner's behind me, isn't he?
Characters in nearby video games might emerge. So here's what happened. Number one, you're like, we gotta get out of here, and you feel that strangely enough, you don't enter the world you want. Instead, you hear from behind you somebody say, "It's me," and then you hear a smash. I'm gonna win. And something's going on behind you. It sounds like
They're so dead.
a machine, a laundry, maybe a washing machine just got smashed with a glowing, like blinking hammer. You know, the Donkey Kong machine nearby is like sparking strangely now. So that's
Spitting out
happened.
barrels.
Is there only one creature who jumped out?
Well, technically
It's
it
a him,
says
Mario.
opportunistic characters, plural.
It is plural.
And it doesn't say when or where it happened. So, you know, we'll see. I haven't needed to spend any of this. Let me go ahead, since we do have 6 more. All right, let's see. We've got.
Gosh, you're so dead.
This is going to be. I can't wait to for
so dead.
these effects to be showing up in the other team's game as well. 5.
Sorry, everybody.
6. Okay. Oh my. I might need a bigger bank. Chaos bank.
Oh my god.
So here's what happened.
Oh my gosh.
You're standing there, and then all of a sudden you hear a horn, and it's very, very loud. And you hear the sound of screeching brakes, and you hear a crash coming from the sound of the portal. And a hubcap flies through the portal and sticks hard enough that it sticks in the drop ceiling above you. Dong! And you look down and you see that the person had swerved and like took out a street light that now falls over and is sparking. And the person gets out and he's like, what's going on? And he's freaking out because he had to swerve out of the way of like a hole that appeared in the street in front of him. And you know that the horn is like stuck on from the impact. And there's somebody screaming and yelling, and then somebody else is screaming in the background, and you know that's happening. What would you like to do? Sai, how are you doing? You hear all hell break loose up at, like right next to your head. It sounds like there's a car crash, like right on the other side of a wall from you.
Oh God. Oh boy. I start crawling around to see if I can get anywhere.
Okay.
Am
Okay,
I
so you're
seeing any-
crawling. Well, it's dark. I mean, so I'll throw you a bone here. I wonder if you have any devices that make light.
I've got a phone. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
let's turn on the light on the phone.
Okay. So you dig around in your pocket and you pull out your phone. And what's your lock screen picture, by the way? What do you think Sai's lock screen is?
I think it's oh God.
I know that's a weird question, but
Yeah, hadn't thought about it. It's a photo that they took of a building, some architecture.
Okay.
There's it's kind of a brutalist structure.
Yeah. Is anybody in the photo? Like, is it of you or a friend or?
No, it's just the building.
Okay. No characters that might want to leave the photo, for example.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I mean,
All
I
right,
guess there's
good to know.
probably like, well, I would.
Yeah.
It's a building, so there might be like a person.
All right. Well, just curious. Okay. Because I was, you never know, right? Might be your pet cat, and all of a sudden, Anyway, so okay, you turn the light on.
Yeah.
I just thought I'd ask. You never know what might, because I know you weren't thinking, oh, I need to make sure I don't say anything that's going to get us in trouble. So maybe you were. I don't know. You turn the light on, and you were like, oh, I'm under the floor, right? You can see the like joists or whatever those. I don't know anything about buildings. The wood pieces that holds up the floor is invisible to you, and there's wires snaking everywhere. This looks like if somebody just like put miles of wires just all over the place, like a giant thick web of wires, but they're all alive and flowing around, and they seem to just go off in the darkness. You look in the distance and you can see there's it goes to the edge of the building. Now, it's not a big building, so you can see like there's like cement walls, but you can see not too far in one direction that there's some light kind of coming, dim light coming down in the corner. And you point, and it looks like there's like a maintenance hatch or something, or maybe a sewer or something is over there. And a bunch of wires are coming down into it from that spot. So if you want to crawl out, you can head over in that direction, probably.
I will
It's
head
just
that
take you a
way.
while, because these things are crawling. They're not trying to restrain you. It's just like they're just flowing all over you, and it's really kind of unpleasant. But you just flowed. You just liquefied your flesh and flowed across the floor. This is child's play by comparison. So okay. So back upstairs, Moira and Mora, you've like fallen back from the sound of this. There's this portal here. You hear some noise coming from the edge of the room, and it sounds like there's then a hatch opening up, and Sai is like crawling out, right, against the wall. So there's like an access panel. I don't know. This is probably unrealistic. They probably don't put these sorts of things in, but they do in this game, because why not? I'll study more architecture before the next session, I promise. So what would you like to do? The three of you seem to have been rejoined. You have a problem. You have several. One is there's this portal that seems to be open between the floor of the arcade and some nearby street. If you look again, you think it looks like the main street outside of CARETAKER that you drove in. It's like a little bit further down that street is the Two Jacks where the bar is. Not far in the other direction is like the gated community entrance where there's like a security guard. Right. And you hear the sound of like somebody's confused. If you look down again every once in a while, you see the driver and then like a concerned passerby walk over and like look in the portal. What? And then like do that sort of thing.
How long do your portals stay open?
Um,
this one said, would you like to tell us that? What happens on a failure?
Unfortunately, that one's permanent unless the agency fixes it for me.
Yeah, it says
it doesn't go
persistent
away.
and visible. Yeah, so that's
So,
a thing.
It's a so that
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
so that's happening. How would you like to handle the situation?
Oh boy. Plus we have like how many characters are jumping around? Do we know how many characters are jumping around that got out of the games?
All you've known about right now is a Mario-esque character. I don't know if we're allowed
Okay.
to say that on stream. Sure, we can do it. It's fair use for art. Mario escaped from a nearby video game and is around and hitting things. It's Donkey Kong Mario, right? So he wasn't even called Mario yet. He's just jumping around, and he wouldn't have said lines from Mario Kart, but I get to take artistic license, athletic license. My brain isn't working. Chaos. See, there's so much chaos over here. Anyway. So
Yeah.
Mario's escaped, as far as you know. That's it, though.
Are we in the same room as Mario, or did he go back into the laundry room?
Mario seems to have appeared in the laundry room behind you, and is kind of, there's some destruction happening. You hear a woman's voice that seems upset, and she's yelling at somebody to stop doing that. What the hell's going on? That sort of thing. Her name is Mia. You met her earlier. She's the owner of the Laundricade. She is the one who was tinkering with the machines when you walked in, spoke to her a little bit about it. She found Manny's body. She thinks he was shouting in excitement when he died, and that's why his scream looked that way. Maybe he got the high score or something. She doesn't know.
Oh boy.
Honestly, Moira wants to run out of the room and try to jump on top of Larian Studios in there.
So let me just step back and talk meta for just a moment, just to remind you, every one of you has been given a normal briefcase.
Yes.
It's a very normal thing. There's nothing abnormal about this briefcase at all, with one exception, which is when you open it, you can destroy or capture. You can capture minor anomalies and even major anomalies if you're lucky, and or if you do well. And that is probably how the agency would prefer you do things like capture Mario. There is one other tool at your disposal.
Yeah, I have ideas about it.
Okay. Do you know what it is?
The little
Ripple
blasty
gun.
gun. Yeah.
Ripple gun.
The ripple gun, thank you.
So it's one use per mission, and it lets you destroy an anomaly. Now, if you use that on the big anomaly, that is one way to complete your mission. It's not what they want. They want you to capture it, but it's better than letting it escape. But if you've got a major loose end caused by a minor anomaly, like, for example, this portal, you can use it to close that. Or to destroy Mario. Not both. There's only one shot.
Do we only have one per group?
One per team per mission. Everybody has a briefcase. Only one ripple gun.
Okay.
Which of you would have it? It wouldn't be Moira, because Moira just arrived. It's going to be Sai or Moira. Which of you would have the ripple gun? The intern?
Or the barista?
Or the barista. So we're going to give you the ability to destroy reality-altering entities. Do you give it to the barista or the intern? That's one of the great questions, I think.
I do have an idea about using the ripple gun, but are we sure as a team? Okay. I am going to run into the laundromat and hold out the ripple gun and say, I always love getting the high score. And I fire it at not Mario. And how can I do this? I want the little duck hunt dog to hop up. Exactly.
Okay.
And just kind of like hit him. And you just see like him fall to the ground with that little slow duck fall. Yeah. And if do I have to say incorrect names when I'm out of character?
No. I mean, I won't make you do that. When your character speaks. Yeah.
Okay. And then if Mia says anything, I want to play it off as this is one of the old blasters. Did you know? It's so cool. I didn't know you could get this.
Okay. So I think I would allow all that to happen, because that's quite a bit more than the ripple gun. And it's you don't have any anomalous ability you can do to convince her of this highly unlikely explanation, I assume.
I do not.
All right.
I can make her go to sleep or scared as hell.
Okay, fair. Might be useful in different times. Would you like to call on the agency to change reality to that significant a degree?
I would.
Okay.
I think I would.
And let's go back to our list of competencies.
Do I have to roll for the gun?
No, the gun, that's just going to succeed. But what you need is, let me get to the list of skills. Where are they? I always find trouble finding these.
You're pointing the gun at the portal?
Do you guys
Is
want
that
me to go after the portal or Mario?
Sorry, I was just clarifying.
Okay, I was going after Mario.
Okay.
If the portal is, we only have one ripple gun, and the portal is kind of a big deal.
Well, you've already
Yeah.
like laid out what you wanted to do
Yeah.
there. I think we commit to it and
Okay.
suffer all the consequences that come from it.
Which
That's-
quality are you going to use? Which quality do you have points in? Let's be honest.
I have duplicity, and I was thinking that would work
Yeah.
if I'm trying to convince her of
You're
of
lying.
the gun.
Yeah, you're lying. So,
Um,
all right. Go ahead and roll your 6 d4s.
I have 1 3.
So first of all, congratulations, that's a success because you used duplicity. Second of all, that means you guys rolled 24 d4s and only had 1 of them come up. You should have had 6 of them by now, just knowing the 1 out of 4 chance. So wow. Very improbable result. Good job.
Yeah,
All right,
and we generated a crap ton of chaos.
You sure did.
Yeah.
So, I mean, even right then, just that roll, that's 5 because 5 we're not
so
3.
dead. We're so
So
dead.
that's we're into we're well north of double digits here.
It's not going well.
This is
So
we have generated 4, 5. So that's you have over 20 chaos in here. Just,
We are
I'm gonna have to
all
look up.
going to get probation on this one.
So here's the good news. I'm gonna because this is your general manager feels pity for the failing agents. So your general manager is going to help out with a little bit of a causal retcon, which is because you called on the agency says, "Oh, for goodness sakes." And it just so happens that this time the ripple gun looks like a Nintendo classic light gun. Right?
Hell yeah.
And Mario happened to be up against the wall where the broken projector screen had been that she had been working on because she fixes things and people drop off electronics for her to repair. And so she looks up and she's like, "Oh, you got that to work? I used to play Duck Hunt back in the day. Very cool. Although I don't remember Mario being a Duck Hunt. That's a neat mod. Did you hack it too? Very cool." And then she's like, "Why did I'm going to have to turn the volume down on pole position because I just heard the crash from here." And there's a pole position game in there. It's one of the sit-down kinds, actually, which is very cool.
Ooh.
Right? Yeah.
While all that's happening, Moira is going to jump up and yank that hubcap out of the ceiling and throw it back in the portal.
Okay. Clang.
Yeah, just get it out of there.
You hear somebody go, "Hey, what are you doing? Watch out." So Sai, Moira, y'all can Moira's gone in the other room and we're taking care of that problem. I mean, look, nothing is stopping you two from just going like and leaving. Sometimes there's loose ends and missions and it's just above your pay grade and you just gotta go. Or you can try to do something to hide the dimensional portal that's been created in public.
There's no more video game characters floating around this room, though.
Not that you've seen. No.
Oh boy.
Can we like move something in front of the portal?
Do we happen to have what was that game? It wasn't the one where you go over holes really early, like Atari game where you're swinging.
Pitfall.
Pitfall.
Yeah.
Sure.
Pitfall's in there. Move it over the portal.
Pitfall Harry is the little guy. Yeah, I
Yes.
used to play it.
How wide is the tunnel?
You made it. You tell me. Probably wide enough for a person. That was the goal.
Yeah, wide enough
Let's
for
say,
a person.
3 feet. like a little bit bigger than like a sewer lid. That's it. Yeah, it's like a sewer lid.
Okay. I look over at Sai and I'm like, hi, I don't know your name because Moira told me like 3 different names and I don't know which one is right. But let's try pushing a game over the opening here on the floor just so we can hide this side of the portal for now.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. Let's do that.
Okay. So, just like question of logistics. The bottom of an arcade cabinet is smaller than 3 foot by 3 foot. The hole
That's true.
is 3 foot wide. So if you push the cabinet on it, it'll fall in.
What
So
about the
shooting
sit
out
down
in the-
game?
Yeah, I was gonna say, is there one of the like bigger games with like a sit down thing?
Yeah, you can.
Pole
There's a pole position game in here. It's the only one.
Oh, that's true. We
got-
got pole position.
Yeah. Is that bigger than the portal?
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It's like the size of it's large and heavy, and it's going to be. You can do it. It's just going to be like. Yeah. So the two of you together muscle it over the hole, and you finally get it over there, and it's blocking. And somebody's like, "Where did this wall come from?" Somebody yells out in the other. You can hear it through the portal. So now from outside, it looks like there's just a weird. There's like a solid object in the road that doesn't belong there. It's like a floating. It's like right on the ground. It's just a floating circle of like basically like I don't know black painted wood. The bottom of the cabinet.
Right.
One
Couple
thing.
of pieces of dried bubble gum.
Yeah. Right. Dust. One thing that's weird you notice as you're pushing it is the cord does reach long enough. There seems to be no shortage of wires and cords here. But the video game screen has the noise of a car driving and there's the road going through, but there's no car there.
Oh no.
Oh
Pole
no.
position car
Oh no.
on.
Where's the car?
There's
There's no car in the game.
so fucked.
So
Do we hear? That?
Yeah. Nope, don't
Oh
hear anything.
no.
Somebody,
That could
you
be
hear some
anywhere.
yelling from inside the portal, from the other side of the portal. You do hear. There's a road out there with the cars, but
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
and it was pretty near to the video games. Yeah, when that thing happened, because it was there. It was there. The hole was there before the failed site visit happened.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. All right. So this side of the hole seems to be managed. Mia is just like, "What are you doing?" Oh, and she walks over. She's like, "No, this goes over here." I'm gonna have to get somebody to help me. Get out of here. Where'd Sims go? They owe me money. And Mia wanders off. So you seem to have gathered all you can. You've caused as much
Right.
chaos as I ever imagined possible at the laundricade. Okay. And outside of the laundricade, like down the block, is where it is. There's a wooden. It looks like a wooden disc is sitting on the road, and it's immobile. People can like push on it, and it's as heavy as the arcade is.
So dead.
So that's happening. And somewhere out there is, you think, a pole position car that's just exploring a new race course in its 8-bit blocky. Look, think of it this way. Now, Null has a car to drive to work.
There.
There we go. You're welcome,
Mhm.
Noel. We're the king.
Yeah. Have at you. Have at you. All right. So, yes.
Wait, you
so-
guys met Null?
They did.
He's working at
Everybody
the coffee
knows
shop.
Noel.
They've got Null serving coffee now? I haven't seen him yet
Yeah.
since we brought him back. Oh my gosh.
He was thrilled.
Yeah. For the king. Yeah.
Can I just say that I'm so sick of video games right now, it's not even funny.
So, yeah.
So,
Same.
so what happens now? Do you guys have any other leads?
So there's a flyer that we got from the tavern that has this phone number for this horrible woman on it, and I think she's probably the problem. But
She
we
seems
didn't
to
get
have
in touch with
really
her yet.
strong feelings, doesn't she? Yeah.
Especially about
She's-
noise.
Yeah. But I think we tried to call the number and it didn't get us anywhere. It just gave us
Did we?
to a voicemail.
Ah,
So I can remind you of a few facts.
And there's the
She
electronics shop.
She's self-described as a resident of Caddy Corner,
Mhm.
whose house is near these locations because of this. That's why she's complaining about the noise. After all, as she said, in her words, some people are trying to sleep. Which also, incidentally, is the message on pin drop.
On the pin drop.
Yeah, so that's what's happening. So you have some options. You can, for example, there's a couple loose ends here that you could follow up in. Not the triangle agency loose end, like, hey, you broke reality and left it. But the loose end, an investigatory loose end. For example, there's a woman that is an artist, or was a metalworking artist, who used to do work in town, but at her studio, but your friend Kay Renfield complained about the noise of her power tools. So she's like, fine, I'm going to go out into the woods to do my work. And Mia told you about this woman because Mia would exchange equipment and stuff with her at times. That woman is the woman who died a month ago. So you could try and find out what the deal is with her. Kay Renfield, on the other hand, is the woman who is the concerned citizen, and you know roughly where she lives. So you can go in and talk to her. Her address was listed on the flyer. Finally, you can go, you do know there's like an electronics shop nearby there, you know, that you can investigate. You don't know, you could go find out where pole position went, you know, a few things. What would you like to do?
Oh boy.
You do get the vibe that the feeling, you've especially you, Moira, now that you've seen how this works in the other case, somebody has very strong feelings about a topic, and they just happen to get close enough to one of these anomalous power forces, a warp in reality that decides to attach onto that feeling and take it on in its own anomalous way. So in this case, you notice some threads seem to be coming together, and you're guessing you might have an idea about what the cause of this anomaly is.
Didn't Mia also tell us that there is a security tape and we watched it, but it goes dark for like 20 minutes?
Yeah, it goes dark for the period of time in which Manny dies, basically, and it shortly before his death. It goes dark, and then it comes back on afterwards, and it looks like there's like a power surge or something happens right before, like it goes whoop, all the lights go real bright for a second and everything's whited out and you get static, and then it kind of fades back in as if your eyes are adjusting to, after a bright light, back to normal. Yes.
But
Do we
also,
want to
didn't
try
it?
and get in it?
I'm sorry, what?
Oh, just that. Also, I took I rewatched the episode and took notes that there just before it cuts out, there was a dark humanoid shape in the corner made of wires walking back into the arcade where Manny was.
Yeah, Manny was singing loudly to himself, as always. And it looked like a person made out of twisted wires or something in the corner of the last frame of footage. But here's the thing. She told you that when you observed it, the screen, the video, I mean, it's literally a single frame. So she did like a stop frame by frame advancement, and it's just in the last frame. This creature suddenly emerges. So I mean, it's very little visual evidence. There's something came out, something made of white wires or bone or something. It looks like wires, but they're in the shape of like a skeletal form. Just suddenly appears in the corner of the camera, and then the camera goes.
Which corner of the? Like
To
the
the
corner where
left
the
of
hatch
Manny.
was that I came through?
Yes.
Hmm.
So some
Do we
wires
want
manifested
to-
in a person and killed Manny somehow.
Yeah.
Right. So far, everything is involving people getting killed with all of these electronics and wires, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And in each case, somebody is being loud when they die. Mr. Jackson, Tony was playing loud music and messing with the stereo. Manny is playing a loud video game while singing loudly. And the woman with the power tools was using power tools.
Okay,
And you know,
so
some people are trying to sleep.
right. So clearly, I think we can tell here who's responsible for spawning this. The
Yeah.
question is, where did the anomaly spawn? We've got to figure out where this anomaly spawned from. What do you guys
if you
think? Should we go talk to this woman, or should we try to figure out where this anomaly is spawning from? Maybe that electronics store has all the supplies that the anomaly is like emerging from, maybe?
That would be a good place to start too. Just offering it, if anybody thinks it would be helpful to go into the videotape and watch the creature, get a better look at it, watch it enter, maybe that'll tell us more about where that came from. And it'll give Gwen a little bit more chaos.
Do you want to go in and look?
It's an option.
It would be really fun. I can get all of us into the tape, and even those moments that were dark.
Well, it's worth a try, but we haven't been exactly things haven't been going really well. What happens to us if it doesn't? Does that mean
What?
dumping out?
Let's see. It's just
Remind me and the good folks at home what chaos does.
So basically all I do is adjudicate the rules of the game. You know, like you make a move and I tell you what happens when you roll the dice and just describe the world. But once in a while I get to make a move. But in order to do so, I have to cash these in. So I have a list of things that this anomaly can do. And this, for example, you've already seen a couple of them. Grabbing Sims was one. Manifesting the little wire spider is another. Those are things that anomaly can do, and they cost chaos. So I just pulled some chaos out, and that means if and when I decide to manifest the anomaly's powers, I've got chaos that I'm spending on it. And the goal is, the more chaos you spend, the more powerful the anomaly becomes, and the more things I can do to make things interesting. That's all. So you were saying, Moira.
I'll be honest, I've been wanting to get in that videotape for weeks.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Rolling with attentive.
Okay.
Can we,
Maybe.
so in
Yeah.
for sake of trying to not, can we do
Absolutely.
this in a room where Kay isn't, just so that she doesn't see?
Oh, Mia,
or
the
Mia,
owner?
that Kay's
Yeah.
a bad woman. Mia.
So you can kind of go around the corner in the arcade, or you can go outside and behind the building, or you can go into the closet or the bathroom or something like that.
Where there's not any civilians.
Let's go out. Let's go out and find some place outside behind the building where no one can see us.
Maybe the woods near where Billy was found, the metal worker. Just to be
that works.
well out of.
Let's go.
All right.
Sure.
So you walk out of the arcade, the laundry arcade, and you look to your left, and about a block down, there's a car accident. And there's a big sphere, a big disc of wood, it looks like, from here in the middle of the road that this person swerved to get out of the way of. And so, there's a police car is now arriving, and they're trying to help make sure everyone's okay. And you see the cop walking up and like poking at the wood, and he's on his radio. Off in the distance, you hear a bunch of honking, and it sounds like another crash just off in the distance. Behind the laundrycade is a subdivision, and there's some houses there. And off to behind that little area of the subdivision, you can see some woods. So you walk across the street. There's some nice little suburban homes here in this little gated community. You walk down the street and you step into the woods, and there's a nice path that kind of winds off into the woods. You go a short distance in, and what do you do? Would you like to roll for your site visit?
I would like to roll for site visit. Try this again. That's 1.
Okay, so on 1, you and nearby allies you choose can enter the world depicted. While inside, you may manipulate objects, converse with people, and see from perspectives not featured in the original frame. Do you have 2 quality assurances and attentiveness?
I have 0 in that.
Oh no!
How many successes did you just roll?
No.
Wow.
We are
Okay.
so dead.
Let's make this interesting. As far as you can tell, you succeed. The 3 of you are now in the video. You're in a grainy world version of the laundrycade. In every direction, you can see the world as you know it, but it's night outside. And the only person you see or hear is Manny singing, like bellowing a song. He's like, last Christmas, I gave you my heart the very next day. And he's singing, it's really awful. Okay. As you're standing there, you hear movement from the corner. What would you like to do? You're not going to be able to save Manny's life or something this way.
No.
You
No.
View and observe and learn. You just want to watch and see what happens, or you can move position?
I would like to change positions. I would like to actually go in. We can see Manny playing, correct? Or just hear him? Okay.
Yeah, no. You have appeared where the camera was aiming, but you can look in directions the camera did not depict, including you can see Manny playing a video game, and you can see sort of around the corner. There's arcade games in the way, but you could walk over there and look if you wanted.
Yeah. I would like to go stand next to Manny, but looking out so I can see the room and what he's doing in the game that we know he started cheering about or whatever. I want to be able to see if the thing is entering from this room, but I also want to be able to see what he's doing.
So as you walk over, the 3 of you, let's say, go over, you see that he's playing a game of pin drop, and his disco dancer fighter is fighting one off and another off. And finally, this large, very large disco dancing man comes out to fight them, and it's the boss. And he's sweating and he's shouting and he's singing while he plays. And finally, with a twirl and a kick, this big boss goes down, and he starts yelling and screaming and celebrating that he's finally beaten pin drop. And it goes to the high screen score, and all of a sudden the screen buzzes and the high scores go away. And they were all his initials, mind you. And it spells out all the things. Some people are trying to sleep. And you look to the left, and the hatch slides to the side, and wires start pooling out like a fountain. But then they start to coalesce in the form of a humanoid that walks forward, and then, into sight of the camera. The lights flash bright, and this wire form, Manny looks to the left and grasps, and then you'll notice everything around you goes perfectly silent. There is no sound. He grasps his chest and screams like he suddenly can't breathe and can't And you all of a sudden all the color goes out of his face as if all the blood just drains, and he just collapses. And he's got that
Could
like,
we hear him scream?
no,
Your silence.
no sound
Just
whatsoever.
wanted to make
In
sure.
fact,
Yeah.
in fact, it feels so oppressive on you that like if your very heartbeat, the sound of your heartbeat is struggling to pump blood. If you were really there, it could be enough to kill you. And then the wire creature just slowly, like in reverse, like moonwalks back into the corner and like just melts into the thing, and then the lights come back to normal, and slowly your ears pop and the sound returns, and Manny lies dead. Some people are trying to sleep on this high score.
Okay. You guys are in here with me. Is there anything you wanted to look at or visit? Because while we're in here, all of us can explore beyond the frame of the video. It's not just me.
I want to go to the hatch, and I want to take, the flashlight on my phone. I want to look down inside under the floor, and I want to see where all of the wires go.
So you
I
stick your
go
head
with
down,
you.
and you both can kind of stick, because like I said, it's an electronic metal plate that adds up, and there's like behind the wall there is a that's where the like breaker board is, and all the wires are coming in, and a bunch of the wires go down under the floor. And you look down and you stick your head down in there, and you can see wires, and they all seem to be flowing in all sorts of directions. Some going over towards the Two Jacks bar, some are going over towards what you think is probably the electronic shop, and then a whole bunch of them are going out towards the back of the building, which would
Toward
take
the
you
subdivision?
to the subdivision.
That's what I wanted to know. I pull my head back out. I'm like, guys, the source has got to be where K is. We've got to find a way to convince the anomaly that we can take it someplace where it's very quiet. If we can convince the anomaly to get in the briefcase and that we'll take them someplace where they can have peace and quiet, maybe we can get we can get it subdued. But it's clearly coming from K. Everything branches off, but the majority of the wires are coming out of there. We got to go talk to this woman.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Okay.
I do hear the vault is very quiet.
You want to bounce us out of this videotape?
Sure. I hit pause and then eject, and we pop out. And I just look at it sadly and I say, I can't be kind because I can't rewind. I can only go in. Just
right. All right. You get a commendation for that. Be kind, rewind. Right. When you step out, you're back to the woods, but the silence is here.
Oh shit.
The silence that you heard for a moment is all around you now. It's as if the whole of the wood is deathly silent. No sound. It's not just quiet. Like you could take a stick and break it. Nothing. You can't hear your own voice. You can't hear your own breathing. And again, it feels oppressive. But this is reality now. You're not in the video. Oh, by the way, I just spent 6. By the way, as well, I got 6 from what you just did. Your fail. So those, I won't even bother putting those additional 6 in here. I've still got all those. All right. So down the street, 3 or 4 houses down is Kay's house.
I gesture in the direction and go and just let's get out of here.
Does the sound improve the closer we get, or does it like become even more oppressive? The
closer you get to her house, the more it's quieter and quieter, and like it's hard to breathe. You feel like it feels like there's a weight on your chest. It's oppressive. You get to her house. What do you think? Let me think about this. See, I should have rewatched the video. Every so often now, as you get closer, you think you hear something very far away, and then you realize it's your own voice, something you'd said earlier. After arriving in Catty Corner, is in this place, this space of silence. The sounds you've made since you arrived are somewhere in this bubble of silence. You hear you hear Moira refer to you as Fry Guy and Spy and Sly. Moira, you hear your own hotline voice apologizing and explaining to Mia about Duck Hunt. You hear yourself speaking to Sims before Sims was sucked behind the machine. But it sounds like it's from a distance. And when those voices stop, you hear nothing. So total silence, but this silence seems to have captured the sounds you've made when you arrive.
I'm going to take out my phone and I'm going to look at my phone and I'm going to like rifle through various apps and stuff and see if anything shows up. Does anything saying some of us are trying to sleep shows up anywhere on my phone?
Well, one question I have for you is, what is on your lock screen?
A picture of me and Mag.
Okay.
Oh no.
What's the meanest thing you've probably ever said to Mag? Do you think?
Oh gosh.
Your best friend for how many years?
Yeah.
Roommates? Surely you've had those regretful moments.
Oh man.
Where you wished you could take something back and make something said, make it unsaid.
Probably something like you don't always know everything, you know.
Okay. You arrive at Kay's house. It's perfectly silent. There is a garden gnome in the yard, standing amidst some perfectly manicured daffodils. There is a knocker on the door, but you'll notice it seems to be wrapped in bubble wrap. There's a doorbell, but it seems to have been removed or like disconnected. There's like a wire hanging out where it would be. What would you like to do?
I'm going to reach for the doorknob and see if it's unlocked.
It is.
I'm going to very slowly push the door open, but stay outside the house.
Okay. The door makes no sound. Inside, you don't see anything in particular happening. The lights are on. It is the middle of the day. But you don't see anything until, well, actually, every once in a while you hear an echo of one of your own voices back to you. But you, Moira, you hear your own voice, what you said to Kay now. Or Meg, I'm sorry, not Kay. Meg, you hear that insult. You don't know everything. And you hear it again, and it starts to be repeated. And all of you hear Moira say this, and you don't know the context, but you do, Moira. So that's been repeated. Then all of a sudden, a woman walks into sight holding a tray. And on her tray, she has little canopies. And she looks up and you all hear her speak. She says, "Oh, are you here for the Concerned Citizens of Caddy Corner meeting? You're a little early, but I'm really glad to see some people coming in. I was a little worried, honestly. The last meeting, attendance was a little less than I had hoped. Come on in, please."
Moira will kind of bounce in, but trying to keep her normal bubbly, I'm trying not to be all excitable and loud. So I'm just trying very hard to maintain, yes, we are here because we are also very concerned citizens. Okay.
So as you step forward across the threshold, your ears pop and you can hear, but it's perfectly silent in here, except for the noises that she makes and the noises that you make. And even when you walk, it seems there's almost no sound, right? So she brings you in and says, "Okay, well, come on in. I'm glad that you're here. It means that people in the community are finally starting to listen to me. I am so glad that you're here. Please come in." And she gestures for you to sit on the sofa. There's a sofa to one side. It's like white. It's like a cream colored overstuffed sofa that's wrapped in that plastic protective cover on it. She's a middle-aged woman. She's got kind of like a short, like severe blonde, bleach blonde bob. She said, and it's like an asymmetric one. And she says, "Please, I have mints. I have some canopies." And you look, and they don't particularly appetizing. It looks like pickle slices and cream cheese on a cracker. I mean, maybe that's your thing, but with a little toothpick through it, with a little red plastic, frizz on the top.
Mm-hmm.
And she sits it down and she says, "Would you like something to drink? I have iced tea. I have seltzer, and I have some red wine." I know it's a little early, but I've got a whole box.
Could I perhaps use your restroom?
Sure. It's down the hall on the right. Oh,
Down the hall on the right.
And she says, "Wait, yes." And she seemed nervous for a second, but then she suddenly calmed. She said, "Oh, okay, no, all right. Yeah, it's fine. You can go."
Okay, thank you so much. And I head down the hall, and when I'm out of sight, I kind of go open the bathroom door and close it, and then I'm going to start investigating what I can while I can.
So while Moira is snooping, what's Sai and Moira doing? You're out here with Kay. I mean, she's happy to talk about, she's like, "So where do you live? I don't recognize you from the community. Are you new?"
Yes, actually. And my family and we're new, and we don't really get out much. Pretty busy with the kids and getting them to school.
I always wanted children. It would have been so nice to, have them, but it didn't happen. Maybe someday. So tell me, you do know this, we're here, this is a meeting of the concerned citizens, right? I assume you two are concerned citizens? And she looks at both of you two, Sai.
Really concerned. Yep.
Yeah.
Very.
I mean, the noise has been
So
really
concerned.
bad. And, and now we've got, I don't even know what's happening in town. People are, we've got people dying. I don't think it's really relevant to our issue here. But I mean, after all, Tony, have you seen the guy? He probably didn't eat well. He probably had bad habits. He worked at a bar. He probably drank a lot. So I'm sorry that he died, but you know, at least I don't have to hear that bar anymore. It was so loud. Oh my God. It was like what with him and the power tools and the screaming from the laundricade and the constant whatever. And she just starts rattling off sounds in the neighborhood, the cars out on the street. And it was just awful. I mean, some people are trying to sleep.
How long have you lived here?
I've been here. I am one of the founding houses of Caddy Corner. And, I've been here. And when I first moved in 10 years ago, this was such a quiet neighborhood. But ever since they expanded the road out there and businesses started opening and more people moved in, it's been chaos out there. I mean, I wish that the police, I went and tried to talk to them, but they seem more concerned about these people dying. I tried to get them to investigate the noise violations because right now, the only place I can get any peace is in my soundproof basement. And it's ridiculous. I mean, up here, it's like chaos. I should show you, it's amazing. You should get one for your place because I imagine with babies, right? I mean, they scream all night, right? So, you want to
Very
just go in the
much.
basement and so you don't have to hear that. I mean, I know
It's
that's an
very
idea
difficult to get some sleep. Yeah.
right? It's like if they would just stop screaming, right? It would be great. But no, I'd have to have a basement or like a quiet room, right? I could not hear the babies screaming for a while. Yeah. So that's what I did. I had one installed downstairs. Do I see? It's pretty nice. I like it.
What do you think, Sai?
Yeah. Let's go.
Okay. Hey Moira, what did you call them? Just curious.
I was out of character just now when I said it. No, really.
Okay.
If I'm up
That's
here,
totally fine.
you know I'm Moira.
That's a good point. You're right. You weren't Moira. You were Blue. I just was giving you trouble.
I was like,
okay.
Yeah, for a minute, I
So-
was like, I haven't mentioned the woman's name.
No, not Kay's. So Kay's
yeah.
is oh, you're right. So Kay says, well, all right, well, yeah, let me show you. You should hear the difference. So she takes you towards the kitchen. But before that happens, Maura, you've been poking around and you see wires snaking along the baseboards in every room back here. And they're all slowly moving in one direction or another, and they all seem to head in one place. They all are converging on a door that is like that's ajar. So all these wires are sticking out the bottom of it. That is off of near at the end of the hallway near the kitchen. And as you approach, you can see it's a stairway down. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna pry open that door and I'm gonna step in.
Okay. So you see, and then an off-white walls going down, the walls are padded with heavy soundproofing. The steps and the floor are covered in a very thick gray carpet. And you glimpse are you going down or no? You said down?
Yeah, I'm gonna go down. Yeah.
Okay. As you get down, you see there's a couch on the left wall next to a short side table with a lamp. There's a folded quilt and pillow on the sofa as if Kay had been sleeping here. On the right, there's a desk and a printer and a pile of what appears to be thin cords coming out of the back of that printer. And they're the same kinds of cords you've been seeing all over, and they're moving. The room is completely silent, but what is strange down here is you can hear every single sound that your body is making. You hear yourself digesting. You hear your heart beating. It's as if this is a place where any noise you make is magnified 1,000 times. It's really weird. Meanwhile, the other two of you are with Kay, and she brings you over to a door that's partially ajar. You all notice that there are some wires, and she said, I had to run some extension cords because there wasn't outlets in the basement for my computer. Let me show you though how quiet it can be down here. And she leads you down, and well, You see the same things. You have the same experiences. You see, when you get down towards the bottom, tell me what you do when you see Moira standing there, like looking around. She doesn't know you're coming because she can't hear any noise you're making as you descend. She can only hear her own body's noises. As you descend, you're hearing Kay talk, but that's all that is the only sound that's available to you until you get into the basement. And then all of a sudden, all you can hear are your own body noises. But you see Moira there. What would you like to do?
I think when I get to the bottom of the staircase, I'll kind of like trip a little bit and like fall over on Moira.
Okay. Okay, so you so Sai comes down and whoa, does one of these kind of like comic spills, crashes into Moira. The two of you go falling forward and knock over the side table. Suddenly, all the sound is available again to all of you, and it's a very loud crash as the glass ceramic lamp falls off of this thing and shatters on the ground. Kay's like, and then the wires begin to move, become very agitated. They start coming down the stairs and out from behind the computer in great agitation and speed, and they swirl around into a humanoid form. And you realize that you are facing the anomaly itself. Right, the pile of cords unfurls into this anomaly. It's a cage of slender, bone-like wires. It's perched on two long legs like a skeleton stretched thin. Its head is a smooth, white, featureless skull. Its arms hang limply at its sides, but then it tries to reach out for you, and Sai and Moira, both of you making the sound and grabbing you and trying to pull you in. Kay is surprised, but she realizes something quickly. She says, oh, it didn't like you making noise in my quiet room. And what would you like to do? Let's go with Moira first, because Moira is the only one not being grabbed by wires. You're not trapped yet, but you would do. Yeah, I will tell you this. Its skeletal rib cage is opening up, like it will swallow up, put you in a cage, the ones that it grabs and sucks in. Moira, what would you like to do? You get a chance. You're standing next to Kay. Kay seems to be cheering this on. She doesn't like loud noises, and she's glad that these wires are going to enforce some silence around here.
Oh, I would like to try my ability Nightmare.
Okay. Let's bring it.
Yeah. With this one, basically I wrap myself up in the darkness that is within the target.
Oh, yes. Yes, you can.
Yeah.
Do you have presence?
I don't. Shit.
Okay.
Yep. We're doing it. We commit to the business.
Roll those dice.
While I do this, I just want to whisper to Kay, they're my friends. It's okay to let them stand up. They didn't mean it. And then I roll, and then I try and do this shit.
Oh no, we're so dead. We're so dead.
So fucked. Yeah,
wow. Okay.
Oh boy.
Okay. On a failure. So here's what nightmare.
They were all failures, so.
Your true identity is emblazoned onto the mind of your target. By night, they will dream about you. By day, they will think about you. For today, though, maybe nothing will happen. Oh, by the way, there's still a fail that I haven't cashed in on yet from your last failed site visit. Just putting it out there. Okay. I didn't think this was possible, but I'm getting low on my chaos tokens over here. We're north of 30. I can't believe this. This is remarkable. Oh no, I spent 6, so we're back in the 20s. Okay.
Oh,
I want to thank you all for this. Okay, so you look at her and you say that, but you do say something, and she looks at you and says, I can't handle when it's loud and I need to control the sound. Okay, she has clearly a
Yeah.
there's an issue here, and it's so, her feelings on this are so powerful, they've manifested this being.
right.
Moira and Sai, you're being pulled in by the anomaly. What would you like to do?
Moira first is going to just whisper to the anomaly. I'm so sorry. It was an accident and it won't happen again. Just in a quiet whisper.
It looks at you and it stops pulling as fast.
And then I'm going to whisper, we'll all talk to you like this if you want. But we'd like to talk to you.
It stops pulling you. Its chest closes and its hand points at the computer screen. A message appears and it says, I must protect Kay from noise.
Sorry, that's just sweet.
She doesn't like it. Some people are trying to sleep.
Do we want to type our responses so we're even quieter?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And let's continue to speak in whispers right now to each other.
Absolutely. Yes.
So, Kay's like, you can see her starting to calm. She said, see, it's not difficult. She goes and she sits on the sofa, puts her hands, clasps her hands in her lap, and is like, do you hear how quiet it is down here? It's so much more pleasant. And the being, the anomaly, stands there and it's like it's pointed at the screen and is looking at you, waiting to see what you do.
I kind of gesture for them to go type.
Okay.
I'll go to the computer terminal.
I'm going to be sitting on the couch next to Kay and kind of trying to be my sweet barista. You know, is there anything I can do? Can I help you? Or do you need water or tea or anything that I can do for you?
To Kay, you're talking about?
To Kay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. She goes, it would be nice if someone would clean up my broken lamp.
I can help with that. And so I'll
And
very carefully.
I help her do it as well. And we very gently pick up pieces. I take a throw off the couch so that we can like roll pieces into the throw so that they don't clink together.
Okay, so while the Moira and Moira are doing that, Sai, what are you typing on the computer to the anomaly? Or whispering, whatever you like.
I'll be typing, but I'll be like hunting and pecking, and like I assume it's like an old-fashioned keyboard that you actually like feel the keys clicking, and I'll be just
it's an old-fashioned keyboard, mechanical keyboard, so it's like clackety 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 clackety.
Yeah. So just one at a time, trying to minimize the clickiness.
Okay.
And
it's waiting for your, like, it wants to, it seems open to hearing what you have to say. What do you say?
We know of a quiet place to sleep.
Then below it says I've made a quiet place for her. It's here, and I'm going to make sure she doesn't hear any sound in the neighborhood. I've succeeded.
Okay.
There won't be any more sound now. It's okay.
Do you relay this to us, Sai?
When you can all see
Oh.
it, you're right there by the computer.
Oh,
Yeah, we can
okay.
see it.
You can
Okay.
look up
Yeah,
and see
I'll
this.
kind of
Yeah.
wave everybody over.
The anomaly, as you step away for a moment, the anomaly turns and starts picking up pieces of glass and putting them in the wastebasket, but it's perfectly silent somehow. It's able to do it without making a single sound. The cat, I love it. So, all right. Anything else you'd like to say back?
I'm going to type in the people we work for. They won't let this stay the way it is. And of course, I'm doing the same thing, very quietly hunting and pecking. And I'm going to say, we want to do what's best for Kay and for you. Please work with us.
It responds. It says, are you saying that my efforts will just bring more noise?
And I type, yes. A lot more noise from very powerful people.
But that would mean Kay can't have the silence she wants.
The people we work for have ways to help her.
How do I help that happen?
We need you to get into that briefcase.
I'll open up a briefcase. It's
And
very quiet.
I promise you that I will make sure that the people we work for provide Kay with the quiet she needs in your absence so that you can be at peace about that.
So it looks at you and looks at Moira and looks at Sai and looks at Kay. And Kay's just like, what's happening? And then it pours forward into the briefcase and all of these wires. And it starts going faster and faster and faster. And you sense the motion of like miles of wires, it feels like, comes shooting down the stairs at high speed, but silently. And then finally, and as the last of the wires go flying in, the briefcase closes violently, and it makes a loud slamming sound, and it collapses, falls to the ground. Your ears pop, sound is returned, and Kay's like, "Oh, that was unpleasant. Well, now that we've finished looking at she is acting like she had not seen the anomaly at all.
Okay.
She just is like, now that you've seen my soundproof basement and broken my lamp and cleaned it up, thank you. We can go back upstairs and have some canopies.
That sounds wonderful.
She starts walking.
Canapes sound wonderful.
Yeah, and as you walk, you hear the thunk, thunk, thunk of your feet on the stairs. You, so you get upstairs, and it looks as though the anomaly has been contained. And, you eventually take your leave of Kay Redfield. She is, seems to be happy that there seems to be some attention towards the noise problem. She seems to be pleased to be able to go back down into her quiet basement, and so on. And with that, we effectively end the mission. I'm going to give you a little epilogue. Oh, do you have more you'd like to do?
I would like to say that when we do get back to the agency, Moira, now I'm doing it. Moira is going to requisition. She's going to put in a requisition form asking them to massively soundproof Kay's basement.
Okay.
So that it is still provides that place of quiet for her to prevent her from becoming desperate enough to need to spawn another anomaly.
Okay. Yeah.
I want to go to the electronics store and buy her a new lamp.
That's very kind of you.
Maybe we'll get her some noise canceling headphones.
Okay.
Yes.
So you've captured
As
the
gifts
anomaly.
from us.
You've left the vicinity of Catty Corner. All noise-producing devices and objects begin working again. The 2 jacks, you learn, reopens and seems to find success again. Mia continues to run the laundricade, though some agents came in and had to take care of a malfunctioning arcade machine to fix that under the guise of repair people. And she's very angry about that because she thinks she could have repaired it herself, but they insist they're from the arcade company and they take care of it. Kay Redfield, you learn, begins a career as a blogger, writing about the decay of civil behavior in suburban spaces and the real problem of noise pollution in our society. And she basically arranges that she basically never has to leave her basement. And on that, you get back to the agency. Things end with only a few loose ends. Let's see, we've got the portal in the middle of the road. We've got the pole position car is on the loose somewhere in the town. And you get a call or a message, Moira, that says it's from Meg. And she said, "Why did you leave me that voicemail? That's so hurtful. I don't know if I want to be your roommate anymore." And she hangs up. And you realize as you look that there's a call listed to her from about the time that you all were entering the house.
So I take it I just lost a relationship point from her?
You may have just lost a relationship point. That's correct. And that is where we'll end on that sad note. The good news is the next episode of our Quantum Shift is the post-mortem, right? You do the mission report. We determine how many loose ends there are, and we count to see how many people get commendations and demerits. We determine the MVP and who goes on probation. And then you get to do downtime in which you get to, and by the way, yes, you can all tie for worst. That's a possibility.
We're all getting probation so bad.
So you can also work on your relationship. So you'll get a choice. You can.
I'm obviously going to be working on my relationship.
You will have 3 units of time, right? In the Triangle Agency, time is measured in abstract units because time's actually an illusion. It's a myth. Ask the timepiece; they'll tell you. And so you get 3 units to spend. You can spend them on your anomaly, trying to experiment with your ability to warp and break reality. You could spend them on your reality, which will allow you to repair and indeed strengthen a relationship. Doing so gives you a perk in the subsequent mission. You get 1 perk, 1 relation. It's called a connection benefit in the mission that follows, and you get to choose which one you do, and you'll associate it with that connection. So whenever you work on that relationship, you'll get that particular benefit going into the following mission. Or you can do what the Triangle Agency knows you should, which is work on your competency. right? Come on, don't be a lazy person that goes and talks to people in your regular world. Go to work the hotline in your case, Moira. Spending more time on your competency earns you additional commendations, but it also earns you more quality assurances that you can put in any skill or any quality you want. So, you might want to invest in those so you can avoid so much burnout. And at that, friends, we will end tonight's session. I have been Gwen Marshall, pronouns she, her. I am your general manager, and I have so much chaos I didn't spend yet. By the way, it banks.
And we have been total screw-ups.
And this has been Triangle Agency from Haunted Table Games with the High XP Society. Please go around, and I'm at Dr. Gwen Marshall on socials. Please go around and tell us your name one more time and where we can find you. Barb?
I'm Barb Bond. You can find me on socials at BarbBondVO.
All right. Blue?
Blue, the paycheck usually says Jamie Wyman, so you can find me as that in several places, but on social media, I am at Pajamazon.
I love that. And Eleanor?
I'm Eleanor. I'm a ghost.
I love it. All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for following along with us on this eventful evening.
Oh, my God.
Bye, everyone.